everyone, and thanks so much for spending part of your day with us. We've got quite a variety for you today, from drug addiction and recovery to community preparedness to belly dancing. Did you know that belly dancing was traditionally performed for other women, usually during formal events like fertility rites or pre-marriage ceremonies? We'll learn more about that a little bit later, but first, for more than 20 years, the Hope House of Augusta has had one goal in mind, and that has been to break the cycles of addiction and poverty in both women and children. Here's one reason why. The medicine cabinet has become the new drug dealer. 28,000 people died last year from overdoses linked to opioids, pain medications like oxycodone, morphine, and hydrocodone. Heroin is an illegal opioid derived from the same poppy plant, and heroin abuse has skyrocketed, partly because of greater street availability.
Nonprofits have to be here to help those families, to bring them back to self-sufficiency. So we look forward to another 20 years of helping families mend and bringing people to recovery.
And one of those people who is making the community stronger is Tamara Paulus, a former client at Hope House, who says, "I speak loud and proud about my recovery to bring hope to other people who have a desire to get well." Today, Tamara is a counselor assistant at Hope House. You know, addiction can happen to anybody.
It happens across all ages, genders, nationalities. Nobody is immune to falling into addiction.
For you, did it start as a teenager?
When I look back, yeah, it did. You know, just the normal harmless stuff, you know, trying
experimental,
smoking, drinking, smoking a little bit of pot. 20s come along and cocaine entered the picture. That was my first true love affair.
Cocaine, yeah.
It was. It was.
Oh.
Luckily enough, I was able to kick that and move forward. But it wasn't until I started having headache issues in my late 30s, early 40s, and I started going to pain management doctors.
Okay.
I tried all of the non-medicinal treatments, you know, chiropractic,
Holistic
massages,
methods,
acupuncture, and eventually I ended up being prescribed opiates. It tripped the trigger in my brain, and I had to have more, and I had to have stronger, until the point where, I mean, I was failing the drug screens at the doctors. I was going from one doctor to another, always trying to get more, always trying to get stronger. And eventually I had to start buying them off the streets.
Now, at this time, were you working? Did you have kids? What was going on in your life?
I do. My son is 16 now. And I had been at the same job for 20 years.
Yeah.
It was a good job, you know. I had what appeared to be the good life. I had the good job. I had the nice house. You know, I was supporting me, my son, and my mother. Had a couple cars in the driveway.
Yeah.
You know, it looked like the ideal life on the outside. But behind closed doors, things were slowly unraveling.
What happened that was your breaking point and when you knew that you had to get into recovery?
Well, I lost my job of 20 years. Tried to get a couple more jobs, and I couldn't hold them either. And it was like I was telling you at the Burke County kickoff. I had reached the point where nothing mattered. I had lost one of my cars. My house was being foreclosed on. I had blown through probably about $40,000 in retirement.
On drugs?
On drugs, absolutely. Having the power turned off, having the phones turned off, barely having anything in the house to eat. It was a very lonely, isolated, miserable existence. And I finally reached the point where there was only one solution, and that solution was suicide.
Oh. That is so heartbreaking to hear.
It is the most hopeless and helpless, awful feeling. I mean, I had lost my sister before, I had lost my dad, but none of that compares to the pain of being at that point in your addiction, in my addiction. It was, I mean, I had the plan in place. I knew exactly what I was going to do.
But somehow you ended up at Hope House.
Somehow, one day, and I'm not exactly, it's a God thing, okay? It's a God thing. I had the nerve and I had the strength to pick up the phone and call somebody.
Yeah.
And I called the right person because he told me, get your mom taken care of, get your son set up, pack you a bag, go to the doctor. I actually just saw that doctor last week.
You did?
And I got to tell her that, you know, the cycle had come
Yeah. That
full circle. And yeah, it was great to see her. But she was smart enough to ask me before the visit was over, have you thought of harming yourself or others?
And you said yes.
I broke down and I told her yes. And she was compassionate enough to get me an armed escort down to University Hospital. So yeah, I ended up in detox for about a week and a half. And even at that point, I knew I was not going to be safe left to my own devices.
Yeah.
That it was still very fragile, and I wasn't strong enough, that I had to go somewhere where I'd be safe. And through some help of some more friends from the church, actually, I ended up at Hope House.
It's been nearly 25 years now that Hope House has been in this community, turning lives around just like yours and helping women and children break that cycle. And it's so important that the children are included because they learn that cycle. And if it isn't stopped, then it perpetuates, it continues.
Right. It gives the mother a chance to learn healthy parenting skills, healthy coping skills, and it gives the children a chance to be someplace safe and loved, because we are all about those babies.
Yeah.
We love those babies. And it gives the parents a chance to reconnect, and even though they can't change what's been done, they can do better moving forward.
You are so brave to talk about your story, and I know that you want to encourage anyone who is in recovery, in friends and family of people who are in recovery. A rally for recovery is coming up on Saturday at Stevens Creek Church, the South Point campus on Peach Orchard Road. The hours are 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And Tamara, you're going to have all kinds of fun and games. It's a family event.
A recovery comedian is going to be there. We're going to have bouncy houses for the kids. We'll also be showing the Anonymous People, which will be a bunch of people from across the nation out there showing you that we can get well, and we live full lives, and we're productive, and that things life is so much better than anything I could have ever imagined.
Well, you'll be there.
I will.
And you'll be encouraging people, and I hope that you will speak to Tamara if you see her. Tell her you saw her here.
Absolutely.
Proceeds from the event are going to benefit the women and children at Hope House. And Congressman Rick Allen is scheduled to be there as well to talk about legislation for addiction that's coming through, addiction and recovery. It's so important, and it affects people from all walks of life. Tamara Paulus, thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Still ahead on Jennie, it is the largest public safety event in the area. Columbia County Emergency Operations Director Pam Tucker's here to tell us about this weekend's big Prepare and Aware Day.